You were just talked to about how safe the prone position is. And you've heard this in the trial. The prone position is safe. Here are the Canadian studies. After everything you've heard, you already know now that not a single one of those studies ever examined anybody who had a knee on the neck. You know that. You also know that about these so-called prone studies, none of them actually measured what was the oxygen reserve. That is, how is the oxygen actually being affected by putting somebody in the prone position and any amount of weight on them? They never even measured it. You know that too, although that wasn't brought up when you were being told about the studies to show that the prone position is safe.
He's right.
You heard again about excited delirium. There was not a single witness who sat in that chair and gave you testimony under oath who told you that they felt that Mr. George Floyd suffered from excited delirium. Not one. One of the criteria for excited delirium is the person's impervious to pain. They don't feel pain.
Right.
They're not people saying my neck hurts, my knee hurts,
Right.
everything hurts. They're not grimacing because their wrist hurts for excited delirium. That's a fact. If that's a fact, why are we talking about it? Why isn't that said if you're going to be hearing about excited delirium? Then we turn to Dr. Baker. For example, where there's a discussion of homicide, and you were told that homicide was a medical term. That's not what Dr. Baker said. Dr. Baker said homicide means killed at the hands of another. Means at the hands of another is what homicide means. At the hands of another. And he was pretty clear in discussing the cause of death. He said it was cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement, subdual, restraint, and neck compression. And he did explain what complicating means. He said it means in the environment of. So it reads as though it's called cardiopulmonary arrest in the environment of law enforcement, subdual, restraint, and neck compression. What you were just told, and that was attributed to Dr. Baker, is that somehow he meant that this was an unexpected result. It was an unexpected result of the law enforcement subdual, restraint, and neck compression. Dr. Baker didn't come in to talk to any of us about use of force by police officers. He's not in the mind of any police officer. It is not what he said. There were simply words that were put into his mouth, but you check your notes on what his testimony actually was, and you see that that wasn't it. You've heard now for the umpteenth time in this trial, what is the evidence on autopsy for asphyxia if you're looking at the body tissues? You've heard it from witness after witness on the stand. I even pulled out big, giant, thick textbooks that even Dr. Fowler, the defense own expert, says these are reliable authorities on it. Every one of them says that in half or better of the cases where somebody has clearly died from insufficient oxygen, you don't see any evidence in the body tissues. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a fact. Now, if this is supposed to be about performing an honest assessment, looking at the totality of the evidence, how is that not mentioned to you in summarizing the evidence? How is it not mentioned to you? And I can't even stop there, because you were also told about the law that applies to this. You first told by Judge Cahill, and no question that was accurate. But then you were told by Mr. Nelson, no question, that was not accurate. I'll tell you what I mean.